So right now I've been building a 2D card battler MMO called The World of Nifty Craft for the last year and a half within a company that I founded called Nifty Craft. And we're backed by the creators of Far Cry, Crytek, from Germany, and some other local VCs in Dubai. But before that, I started doing games in 2010, building Arabic games for Arabic speakers, for actually 5 or 6 free-to-play mid-core RPG and strategy games. We also did like streaming platforms where hosts actually organize games, casual games, for their audiences in real time, kind of like the games you see on TikTok right now, but we try to do it on our own platform where we have to acquire our own users and pay for our own bandwidth instead of have TikTok do all this and just run the games. So a little bit about the game we're building now and why. Well, I want to share with you kind of the journey where we feel we're touching a new genre here. Well, first of all, the game we decided to describe it as a card battler MMO. So I guess from most of our interactions, we realized that this is not something that exists. There's a lot of card battlers, there's a lot of MMOs, but there isn't a card battler MMO. Now, to be completely transparent, it took us about a year and 5 months to get this description. And this was like one of the signals how we felt, actually maybe, yeah, no, let's do it. This was one of the signals how we felt, we're onto something new, because we struggled a lot during the development process to define what the game is. So when our friends, whether game experts or non-game experts or gamers, would ask us what it is, it would take us like a minute to explain the game. You have like a battle where you play with cards, but it's also PvP, and it's also real time, and it's also multiplayer, but all the cards and whatnot, you have to go through the MMO loops to get them, and to collect them, and to transfer them, and trash them, damage them, whatever, and it just took forever, and we just didn't know how to get the message across. So, and before digging, I would like to go through what we saw as signals in our journey that signal that maybe we're onto something, a certain breakthrough in terms of gameplay, but also some of the recommendations that we felt that we did kind of by mistake during our development process that helped us get through to innovative gameplay during the rest of this presentation. So first of all, I did a quick search on what is genre defining, and I feel that I couldn't find a good answer, to be honest. If you just read Bing's answer, which also relies somehow on ChatGPT, you know how Bing works now, a new experience for players that establishes a new game type. I'm not a native English speaker, but game genre and game type, it's like telling me this water is a liquid. I realize it's a liquid, but explain to me, a bit more. So I'll take the liberty during this discussion to define genre definition, the way I want. It's just like essentially a new way to play games. But we all know, we're all from the industry, we all know, breakthrough games such as, GTA or Destiny and Minecraft. That definitely Minecraft. It cannot not be a genre-defining game, to a large degree, by the way. So first part is, this is a lot of looking back. When we were going through it, we did not realize anything. We were just trying to build a game. In fact, we were becoming very pessimistic, because some of the signs that we got were all signs telling us the project is doomed, the project is failing. We didn't know who the audience was. We struggled even identifying or defining the audience. I'll make it very simple. A very good friend of mine tried very early versions of the game, and he was like, "Is this?" He didn't know what it was. He was just like a card battler, or should I just do gathering and crafting and I don't know what, and go through the economy simulation? And we didn't know whether we had, actually this also touches the second point also. We didn't know whether early on we should go to card battler players and tell them, hey, this is a card battler game. And you know, as you play it, you will realize that you'll be going through an MMO meta, let's call it. Or go to MMO players and tell them, okay, this is an MMO, but it has a different way of playing the battle. And it's really complicated to explain how the battle plays. It's kind of like Pokemon, you know, you have to it's not combat battle. You have to travel to another scene where the characters are standing still. And so it was always very difficult to describe it very concisely. And this is, generally speaking, usually a sign that the project is not going well. If someone comes and tells me, hey, I'm making a game and they cannot tell me what the game is about, I lose interest quite quickly. And we did have trouble also putting the pieces of game design all together. It was just broken. I'll give you an example specific in what we're doing. So, for example, in the battle, it's like Minion Masters or Clash Royale or a Slay the Spire. You use cards to activate your character's abilities. So these cards were itemized, and you would get them from drops from monsters and stuff like that, and collect them and level them up. But on the other hand, the character has gear, and that gear is crafted, and the crafting uses resources that you gather. And it took us like 3 months to put these two systems together in a way that eventually, it's a very smooth way now, I think, where you take the runes and you slot them onto the equipment, kind of like Path of Exile. And then so you may have the rune, but not the gear, and you cannot use the rune during the battle. But it took us about 3 months, which is really a long time to make a decision about very simple, game design basics. So also seemed like the project was going to be doomed. By the way, now the project is in closed betas and we're getting amazing playtime benchmarks. And a lot of streamers are just picking up for free even during closed playtests. So, but before that, we were on the edge. I mean, is it failing? Is it not failing? And also our friends who were giving us recommendations, their recommendations were completely all over the place. It's like we could just close the project and start a new project with their recommendations, because it was just so varied. Things were not holding very much together. But we kept going. Eventually we figured that we're probably onto something here. And now looking back at the positive signs, not like what were the signs that suggest failure, but the signs that in retrospect tell us that sticking to them, the actions, the recommendations that we took, that by sticking to them actually helped us guide the project. This is a very important one, we know what we do not want, what aspects we don't want, and we very much stick to it. So actually, if you look at how do you do innovation, you have to have a very creative mind and freedom. Yes, definitely, but then you go all over the place. So what are the boundaries? And actually our boundaries were extremely clear. For example, in the game I just described, in the gameplay aspect I just described, we were adamant that we will not have action combat. That was a necessity. We definitely not have any action combat, no matter how things turn. So it took us 3 months to keep going back. Actually, it took us 8 months to playtest the battle from the first prototype we made until we were satisfied with it, even internally. But all throughout, it was very clear we do not want a a combat system, and we do not want the characters to actually move. We just want the characters to stay still, like Slay the Spire. A lot of reasons. No need to go into the whys. It has to do with budget, with competencies, with timelines, but we just stuck to it. Had we not stuck to it, maybe we would have gone all over the place. On the flip side, we knew what we must have. We knew we needed to craft items to equip the players. Also, for a lot of reasons, we no need to go into these. We're comfortable with running that economy, but we never gave up on this. It was a clear design goal. So instead of like a design boundary, it was a design goal, and throughout like the last 15, 16 months, it was always fixed. So these like just general, and those aspects are very specific functional decisions. We even wanted 2D art, very specific functional decisions. And it's not like we came from the fact that, we want an action adventure game. So now within the action adventure game, this is what we want, this is what we don't want, because that's what the genre dictates. No, it was more bottoms up, specifically what are the aspects, the functions that we want and that we don't want, regardless of what the genre is. So that helped us, keep the North Star. So that's what I was just saying, we're not starting from like we knew we needed some things that belonged to MMOs, we knew we needed some things that belonged to card battlers. It happened that we did not define it as part of like a specific genre. Now, in hindsight, we take advantage of this a lot. So, if I talk to publishers or investors, I pretend that I knew that we wanted to make breakthroughs, and so I come and I say, with like so in an environment that we're in with IDFA, deprecation, with maturity of all platforms, PC, mobile. How do we break through? So we need an innovation. We need a new genre to cut through the clutter. But it's not how we came about. It's how I introduce it now in hindsight. And you are most likely, you're mashing up a few genres. I don't think this is a very surprising observation for us in this room. So what does this mean in terms of running the project? Definitely, if we have those signs of failure, but at the same time we have clear boundaries and clear goals, we all say we should playtest as early as possible, and if we have these signs and these goals, we should even playtest earlier and earlier and earlier, and as often as possible. Because things can go in any direction, anytime. And obviously revise and be a bit open-minded about revising. So going back to my example of how we managed the battle system, early on it was kind of inspired by spells in MMOs, where you have your rotation of abilities that you do, and you know them, and each one has its own cooldown. But it moved on towards input randomization, where the abilities that you can use come from your own deck that is larger than your hand. So the way we came about this final aspect of gameplay was we were not very convinced about it early on. We just heard from playtesters, going back to playtesting, that maybe we could try it, and we just unconvincingly tried it, and it was really surprising, and it was fun and engaging, especially on some platforms like tablets. And so as long as we're within the boundaries and we know the goal, revising early is very important. Now, what do these things mean? We're gonna need more time, and we're gonna need more money. This is a necessary implication of having to to play test longer and revise for more time. Oh yeah, another challenge that happens within the team is that very often some members start to lose sight of what the game is and where the project is going, and you start to have difficulties to keep them motivated, to keep them on board. So now I really don't have a way. We did not, to be honest, because we're a long-lived team. We've worked together for so long, so we did not treat that issue directly, but it was a very evident issue. Some of our team members were just like, we don't know where we're going with this. But time solved it. Time healed it. Eventually the game came about and it was very coherent. So for teams that have not worked together for so long, this is a challenge, and to be honest, I don't have a recommendation on how to mitigate it. I don't know if I still have some time, but that was, me sharing my journey, trying to articulate whether I am on a path towards defining a genre or not. I'm happy to hear from you, and we can speak later if you want. This is my Twitter handle here at the bottom. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions from anyone in the room? We've got about 5 minutes, so I'm very happy for anybody who wants to ask anything. Or reassure Vincent that he is defining a genre, please.
Thank you, Vincent. My question is, I can imagine that many MMO players don't want to play card battlers, and card battle players don't want to play MMO. So how did you find out that there's actually a overlapping between these two?
Yeah, definitely. It's okay. Okay, can you hear me? Yeah. So that was, a concern of ours. Among the top 5 concerns. We have so many concerns, and it's obvious we didn't know whether there would be an overlap or not. And we only got proof when we started to measure playtimes with our cohort of playtesters. Well, we also played it ourselves internally, but you love your baby, so we had to bring in playtesters. It's quite late in the process, so thank you for pointing this out. I should put it as a very big challenge because the two circles may not overlap.
Please, yeah.
And how did you get your beta testers? Where? How do you invite players?
We got them. I think we got them earlier than in any process we should. So if you look at the game now, it's obviously very evidently a game that needs another 6 months of polish. But we were so anxious to solving these, such as the market fit issue that you mentioned, that we were like, let's just ask some streamers to get us some of their audiences, and those streamers actually belong to one genre or the other. And they did it for free. So they themselves played, they gave us feedback. It was qualitative feedback that they were excited about it. They shared it. We got a cohort, I think, it's not small cohort, it's more than 1,000 players, and the playtime was okay.
And do you have an idea on which games those players usually play?
Yeah.
Besides your game.
Yeah. So that's how we got the streamers. So as you said, as you saw earlier, it's most likely a mashup, right? So actually, it's surprising, but some of them play Albion, which is a double A maybe MMO, but much higher quality in terms of art than our game. But it's got an open economy, a player-driven economy, which is similar to what we're doing. They came in, they liked the battle system. In fact, a lot of I'm among these. When I told you that we decided to not make an action combat, is because I'm at an age where I will always lose in an action combat. Yeah, but I may win if you use big brains over fast fingers. And it seems quite a few of MMO players are graduating from there. Other ones come from more wholesome games. We got a few female streamers also from more wholesome games because of the art that include card battles.
Okay, thanks.
So look and go up if there's a no. Yes, go for
I
it.
just have one quick question. With your testing, did you try it also on different age groups, like sort of kids under 16 and then say over 60-year-olds?
I don't think we have the depth of data for this yet. We were more open-minded about what demographic we would get, and I think we're getting like 25 to 35, half female and male so far. Yeah.
Any other questions in the room?
The art style may trick also. It's a old school MMO art style. So, you know, maybe people our age will like.
I just said the interesting point for me is that my son's 9 and he went from Minecraft and fell in love with Roblox. He doesn't even play Minecraft.
Oh.
And I'm just always interested with kids, they have a little completely fresh view. They have no history of gaming
Yeah.
as such. So it's always interesting to see how kids react to it.
My daughter, who's 3, loves to play like cat and bear. We have cats and bears in the game. She loves, and that's again because of the art, I guess. Yeah.
So, a minute to go. So I would say, if there's no other burning questions, thank you again.
Thank you.